Good evening, guys. Welcome to Paper Gangsters. This is a rebranded stream. I'm here with Tians, Jacques, and Kiran, and we're obviously going to be talking about this discussion point of what happened at the EGG decision in terms of banning Tians. And today, I just want to start off by saying for those of you who were at Egg Nationals, for the standard weekend, for those of you who enjoyed competitive Magic, I want to say it was pretty incredible environment. I'm sure Jacques, Kiran can confirm that. It's been a long, long time since we've had Magic at that high level in South Africa, specifically because of COVID. We've also had the we don't get high level events as often. We don't get that. I mean, you guys have traveled overseas to play at the highest level, to enjoy the game, and I just wanted to say, how did you feel, Tiens? Did you feel a little sour to be left out? Because I know you would have loved to play. Did you hear any good comments that came out of it? And how did you feel? Uh, you know, having to sit out for one of the events that you probably looked forward to, prepped for, played for, won spots for. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing, definitely. I mean, I like playing in the big tournaments. I feel, it lifts my game to play in the strong tournaments. So I wasn't part of it, but what was nice is in a sense, I was part of it because I lent some of my cards to some of my friends, and Quran being one of them, so I actually was sort of playing while not playing. I was I was feeling how I was actually very happy as Quran did well. I was like following him and Richard and the guys, John Root and so on, and just. So even though I couldn't play, I felt in a sense because they were using my cards, I was sort of there in spirit a bit, and because I was sort of kept in the loop of how they were doing and how their games went. So even though I wasn't there, I still experienced it to extent, and to me, Quran doing so well was, for me, I felt like I was winning with him. So it was good. That sense.
Yeah, I just want to say, Kron, three top eights in a weekend. Come on, dude. First
Yeah.
paper events in just like over 18 months, really, dude. Come on. Well done, dude. Well done. Hats off.
And also, playing formats that you don't regularly play. I know you're a modern player, and I mean, look, that's obviously accounts to the high level of play that you're accustomed to. And I mean, look, that's obviously accounts to the high level of play that you're accustomed to. And I mean, look, that's obviously accounts to the high level of play that you're accustomed to. I mean, look, that's obviously accounts to the high level. So, how do you feel that Tiens wasn't there? Just while you chat, let me hopefully I can sort out the audio.
And
Tiens
like,
wasn't there.
if we say Tiens, we say our current national champion, of course, that wasn't represented at nationals.
Yeah, so he wasn't involved. He wasn't there. I just want to check. I think the audio is not giving me the perfect around here. Outputs. Just give me a sec here. Damn, this is the thing I hate about streaming.
I've got all the time in the world, bud.
I've got a hard one.
Yeah, so Groundcaster virtual output. Okay, cool. So that's going out. That's going out. Let's try that again. Yeah. Groundcaster outputs. And oh man, I fucking hate this thing. So where's all my audio going into? audio input. Outfit. Into ground faster. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can everyone else here on stream just let us give me a second. Just let me know if there's the sound. Can everyone hear everyone? So maybe I must just bump up the volume on the groundcaster.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear it on the stream as well.
Okay,
But
sweet.
push it up a bit more. Push it up a bit more.
Yeah, I've got all the gains, bro. I'm probably gonna need more creatine on this Mac. Sweet. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So I mean that's beautiful, Tiens. Like, you know, so as much as I think people have a lot of opinions or have their you know, for me, I want to give a personal anecdote, right? So everyone might have had said stuff, whatever, and I'm an adult. I want to make my own opinion of someone. Like, I don't take anyone else's information. Is my experience and my direct relationship, and something that obviously is. So the time I would say that I felt cheated, you know, in the inverted commas, or the way I feel. I I look back at that moment as probably one of the best moments for my Magic career, right? It was a moment where I played a violent outburst on an end step, and there was a force of negation at the end step, which is not allowed technically, based on the card's ruling, and it happened, and we look back on that, and I'm like, damn, I know I played that card for that reason, and you know, and it's just because I didn't take the moment to read the card, and obviously certain things happen. Now, when I look back on that, I didn't go and say, "Oh, Tien's cheated me," right? Because I've played a force of negation by mistake on my step. You know, like when we're transitioning between those steps. So I'd never think about it in that way. The same way where this infraction will obviously go into more detail. Someone tried to mystical dispute my crashing footfalls over this weekend, right? I made a little cheeky joke of someone got banned for that, and like you know, like, and the guy was like, "Oh my gosh," like, you know, flustered, but it was an honest mistake, right? We were rushing. We were playing game three. We were about to head into time, so we were making those decisions really quickly, and we obviously have a way of playing around those things. So now, do I go and say call a judge and kind of enforce that, or could, as you said, you know, are we allowed to just say, "Hey guys, we're adults here. Let's roll it back, take it back. I've got that information. I can play around a mystical dispute now because I know that's in your hand." Uh, you know, that being said, you know, let's actually dive into a little bit of that footage, because I think that is a huge kind of understanding. And just before we get into this footage, I want to just highlight um, so before something that happened with me, and this is the reason we had to change the stream from being tabletop gaming, which is something that I wish to share with um, basically I wanted to share it with Benji as a way of enhancing his store. And obviously there was a lot of conflict of interest, branding, and so the decision was it's better for me to go as an independent streamer and kind of showcase this information. Now, as it happens, right? I took my camera to the modern qualifiers at Nexus. And you know, I have a relationship with Benji. I thought they were hosting an event. I thought, hey, let's showcase SA Magic, because that's always been the intention for the stream. My intention is to try and get us, hopefully, at one someday, to get a GP in South Africa. I know it used to happen, or it might be a pipe dream, but the intention is we're putting good content, high level plays, and sharing at that level. Maybe Watsi, maybe someone will see and want to create that in our country. So the question was, hey, I was told, this doesn't obviously align with the brand values of the tournament organizers or event organizers, EGG. So I was asked to mute the stream, which is something I didn't want, because when you're playing Magic, especially if there's no commentary, it's very hard to just understand what happened, what was going on, what was interacting. And that's a comment I made directly after broadcasting this. So I already mentioned that the quality of this information, the quality of the content was not of a standard that I was wanting to put out, right? And this is why I never and at the same time, I'm not going to go into a house that I'm not wanted into. And Tiens, I think you showed the same account by, you took it on the chin, said, fine, you guys have your right of admission as an event organizers. I'm not going to enforce that or go out on that. You took the high road, lent people your decks, and said, play on my behalf, and gave people, said, I'll come afterwards. I will make this chat. We'll speak about it afterwards. So this is the reason why we've had to rebrand this stream, which is why it's a whole new. It's taken me a whole month because I had to wait for Twitch to allow me to change the names. Otherwise, this would have been done immediately. So just for us to now, I want Kiran and Tiens to kind of take over, since this is actually your match. And here is the kind of space. So let's just take a moment here. So this was, there's 2 points that I think Kiran wanted to bring up. This was not a REL, Comp REL event, right? And there were no judges present, right? So, and here, guys, you guys obviously players of this tournament, and you guys are obviously aware of that. So you can walk us through, since there is no audio for this video due to me having to mute the stream.
Yeah, so it's quite simple. I'm playing Sultai Ultimatum. Chance is playing an adventure deck with Luca combo. I tap 4 mana and I play Crippling Fear. He's got a couple of creatures out, a Bone Crusher and a 1/1 token. I think that's about to happen now.
Yep.
I don't know the life totals, but I still was at a reasonable life total. I fully expected the spell to be countered. I think that's important. To me, this was bait, because I'm trying to get his Disdainful Stroke or Negate or whatever counter spell he has out of his hand, because I want to win the game in a couple of turns with Sultai Ultimatum. I think that's very important. So this isn't a clutch spell that needs to resolve in order for me to win the game. So I cast the spell. Tiens motions to pick up his cards, as in it's going to resolve. Then on second thought, you'll notice here, we put things in the graveyard. Tiens says, actually, wait a minute, do you mind if I reconsider that? And I say, sure, buddy, no problem. I'm playing against a friend in a casual event. Let's relook that.
So, I mean, yeah, so you guys took the opportunity to replay it. You're wanting to bait that counter spell out, technically. So you're also kind of allowing that space to occur.
Yeah, and it's a casual event, ultimately, right? Like, so even if it wasn't intense, if it was someone else, I would have been like, sure, whatever. I don't really care about the outcome of the game or the event.
Says the guy who comes out top 8 here.
Yeah, well, it's a different story. He didn't make this in the finals of the weekend. It was made at a random event at Top Deck, right? So yeah, he puts it back on, and okay, I don't know where we are in the picture. It kind of confused me here, but
okay, I can reverse it. Yeah, just give me a second. Let me just scrub through that. So here's it here.
So yeah, this is the first part of the whole incident, if you will. There's nothing to be seen here. There's nothing wrong with it. I allowed it because it's a casual event. I'm in my right to do so. The problem here is Tiens costs Mystical Dispute for 1 blue. And the reality is, most times when you cast Mystical Dispute, you're paying 1 blue mana because you're usually countering blue spells. So it's easy to make that mistake of going, oh, it costs 1 blue, because your mind is programmed, you shortcut, you're used to doing that. And he does it. And if you notice what happens the first time he does it, I don't even pick it up because, again, this is my first paper event in about 18 months. So I just missed it completely, and I'm like, cool, I'll pay the 3 mana. Then he does it, he uses a second dispute, and he counters the spell again. And at that point, my brain wakes up and says, oh, wait a minute, this is a black spell. You can't pay 1 mana to counter this. And, that's all that happened. And so we recognize the mistake. Tiens apologizes, the spell resolves, and that's the end of the matter.
Mm-hmm. So Kieran, you're a judge, right? You've played these.
I was. I didn't renew it in the new system, this new nonsense system they have, where you have to pay $100 a year. But I was for many years, yes.
Right. So you're well versed in the rules. You've played quite a few competitive events, right? So, in terms of not having a judge present, how do you find that impacts the gameplay, and the outcome of something like this? Do you think if there was a judge present, yeah? So Tien's just popped out. I think he needs to just join again. So how do you feel not having a judge present? Did that make it feel more casual?
No, that had nothing to do with it. Whether there was a judge there or not, I would treat this interaction the same, whether it was Tiens who I knew or, someone who was a stranger. If the play unfolded the way it did, I would have treated it exactly the same. It was a casual event. That's the reality. Jock, maybe if you can remind maybe the people that are listening that definition of what, I don't know what a regular REL event is, maybe, because that's quite illustrative of what's going on here and how to treat things.
So first of all, you get regular REL, comp REL, and then professional REL on a day 2 of the GP or Pro Tour Worlds. So literally what it says, let me just pull it up here. So when you look at regular REL, it says regular tournaments are focused on fun and social aspects, not enforcement. Most tournaments are run at this level unless they offer sizable prizes or invitations. Players are expected to know most of the game rules, may have heard of policy and what is really bad. When I say what is really bad in Wizards terms or DCI terms, is when racial slurs or fights break out at an event. That is really bad. That is really, really bad. But generally play in a fashion similar to the way they do casually. Players are still responsible, for following rules, but focus on education and sportsmanship over technically precise play. Infractions in these tournaments are covered by judging and at the regular REL document. And that document is available for any player or any TO to know what's the difference. And to be honest, when you look at the infraction guide, and my opinion, when you look at the infraction, what occurred, I'm just looking for...
Do you want the cheating one?
No, not the cheating one, dude. No, that's not cheating. Like, it's a game's rule violation. What happened? It's exactly what it is. It's a game's rule violation.
So I've got it up here just for the people to read, so they can see it. What a game's rule violation. Do you want to read it? Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through this. Sorry, it's a long document.
2.5.
Like DCI, it's not great with a document.
So I've got it on screen here if you want me to read it. This infraction covers the majority of the game situations in which a player makes an error or fails to follow a game procedure correctly. It handles violations of the comprehensive rules that are not covered by the other gameplay errors. Example, a player casts Wrath of God for 3 white, actual cost 2 white. Right?
Yeah.
Would we believe that's what
happened?
Right?
No, and it says how to approach the situation is a judge will stop the play and try to reverse the state to where it was before the infraction happened. What the judge will do as the infraction is give a warning to the player. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And when I say warning, that's at a comp REL level, not regular REL. Comp REL. Mm-hmm. Regular REL is like, okay, you're like just don't do it again. Carry on. But learn from that. That's the whole point of regular REL.
No.
I think it's important. I think it's very important that we talk out what's happened. Now, In this particular incident again, we've picked up the errors that were made. So Tiens has made an error by using the wrong casting cost. I also made an error by not picking it up immediately. I'm also at fault in this example. Why am I not banned? Why am I banned for not picking something up? Because I played my part in not maintaining the game state. You know, if you want to be cynical, and I don't want to be cynical, that's not what we're here to do today. I have a lot of time for some of the event organizers and some of the judges involved in this. And again, having been a judge for a long time, I know it's not simple. But I do feel strongly about this, and I have told the judges this, and I have told the event organizer this. I think it was an egregious mistake to ban it. I think the judges messed up the investigation. So here's the bottom line. Whenever there's an investigation into a matter, now this is now, unless this has changed, which I don't believe it has, if there's any incident that needs to be involved, you need to interview both players to understand the context and exactly what happened in a scenario. So with this particular example, Tiens would have to be interviewed by whoever the head judge is, whether they were present or not. You will need to be interviewed because it's pretty serious to pass on a recommendation to say, you know what, you can exclude this person or maybe ban this person or whatever the case is.
But Karan, let me just stop you there. I'm pretty sure the head judge needs to be at the event before beginning an investigation.
Right. Sure, that's an aspect. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's COVID, it's whatever. Let's just say, okay, fine.
We don't have enough judges.
Yeah, whatever. There's no money, whatever. So now you want to investigate this issue. You need to pull Tiens aside and say, Tiens, let's look at this footage. What happened? Explain your side of the story. Then you need to say, opponent, who happens to be me in this situation, pull me aside and say, this is what's happened. We'd like to get your side of the story to understand his motive, his intention, because there's a fundamental difference between not maintaining a game state and cheating. To call someone a cheater is, you need to be certain, and it's not every day that someone, gets a severe warning against them. So in this scenario, I wasn't consulted before this ruling was announced. Just so it's
can I just add there? So, and the thing is, I was also not consulted. What actually happened was,
so we used video footage
to ban me, and then I was just told to appear so that they can tell me I'm banned. And as I tried to, in that instance, explain what happened, they said it doesn't really matter what I say; they've already made up their minds. So, in the interest of fairness, we can clearly see, no judge present, the rules for comp RAL would be warning at most, regular RAL not even. Then the interview process, I wasn't interviewed, my opponent wasn't interviewed. So if we're going to say, we want to be fair, I fail to see how any of the various things that can be seen as fair can be shown. And then even the cherry on top is when I said, okay, now if I can't play, and I won an invite, can I get the prize back, because I won a value of 250? That would be the fair thing again. They said, no, we'll just give you your entry back as if you didn't play. Again, just proving that on every instance of having an opportunity to be fair, the fairness wasn't there.
But Tiens, can I ask, why does it feel like there was a personal vendetta against you from the organizers? It feels like that this has not been, it hasn't happened once before. There should have happened something before that they are grievously taking action against you. Like this feels like, how can I say it? Something must have happened before. What happened?
To be honest with you, whenever I really try and find out, I always hear that somebody said something, but they never really tell you what they say, and they say that they prove. and then went to a stage where, even on arena, I would be assumed to be cheating. And I mean, how do you cheat on arena? And so I guess, but anyway, so that I had to provide my recordings of my matches at the end of every match to the tournament organizer or the event organizer.
So
And
it's possible to cheat on arena.
Yeah.
It's possible to.
on arena. I have to record it and send it to avoid not getting banned, because that's so that I can continuously prove I'm not cheating.
Look, Tien's the only reason I think you're bad at arena because your computer skills are lacking. There's no reason, Tien's, I've seen you working on a computer before. Like, it's like, I can imagine, you don't know how to alt tab between windows, but why? I mean, there's no way you can cheat on arena at all. The system is programmed to not be cheated.
Exactly. The thing is, if you win 3 of the events of the event organizer, the assumption is they must be cheating.
Well, Kamikaze Badger
how's it
says,
possible?
you don't cheat arena, arena cheats you.
Blame the shuffler, dude. Just blame the shuffler all the time. It's as simple as that.
I like one of my other friends. I guess I don't know. I can name his name because nothing wrong with that Bavin. He just said, I must be paying arena because they're giving me good draws, so I'm paying them some money.
It's all that actuary money, hey? But look, I just want to get chat involved here, just to get their feelings, their thought processes. I know Mrs. Aimless says, so new players who made mistakes against you, new players, are there a lot of them currently, and veterans should guide the new players. And I agree with that, right? But not in a competitive environment when there's 10,000 Rand on the line, right? You can't guide someone to how to beat you when you're trying to aim for those things. And I think this is obviously where we need to kind of separate this. I think Egg is a brand which is great for introducing new players to the game, especially through the arena format, through to getting this. And yes, they've gotten quite a big profile, right? Through this kind of endorsing a lot of the players, endorsing a lot of this. And I think the intention is I'm not saying, I just want obviously transparency and fairness here. This is why I said, Tiens, I even told you before, like, Tiens, I'm not fighting for you, I'm not fighting against Egg. I'm here just because I want the community to feel like there's a balance and fair play here. And this is just a moment for you. I mean, Kiran's here sitting to defend you because he obviously feels that this went out of line, or is more, the people are reaching past the rules of this game. And this I want to kind of bring back to. So, Wizards has given us a framework to work, right? They've created the Wizards playing network. We want good ethos within all of these spaces. We want to create more people playing Magic. But we also had to come up with, hey, like, what are we going to set as a rules or basis of rules when we play competitively, right? Because this is like playing children's football, right? Pre-18, where you're just kicking the ball around and like all the children are running after the ball because they don't understand the rules of the game. And they just see the ball, right? And that's some people playing tabletop Magic, and it's like, but we're entering that realm of competitive Magic where it's like we're in the UFC trying to go for blood sport, right? Where it's like, hey guys, well, I say that, but I mean that's maybe just my martial arts and movement background that enjoys that realm. But that's where we're going, right? So that they don't allow 18-year-olds just to come into the Premier League. You got to like make sure that you've ensured like the children are aware, their contracts aren't taking advantage of them. That the environment is not suitable for a new player.
Maybe let me just jump in there in terms of taking the game to the next level and so on, and just to sort of link it in with what the event organizers, or Egner, since we're saying the name, has told me. Is they said the reason why I'm banned is because I made that play to get an advantage. Now, I just want to sort of elaborate a little bit on this. Firstly, every single play I make in Magic is to get an advantage, because that's how you are a good Magic player. A good Magic player don't make a play to not get an advantage, because that way, then you are just running around the ball cluelessly, but then secondly, what actually happened? Who in this game against Karan got the advantage? Now like we just said, Karan made top 8 in every single format this past weekend. He's been in the world. He's arguably one of the best players, not arguably, he is one of the best players in South Africa. Okay, and he's my friend. So now let's just put that into context. Would I honestly think that that Quran, if I knew I couldn't play the mystical dispute for one, if I knew I couldn't, I would automatically know Quran, of all people, would pick it up. And what would then happen if he picks it up? He would immediately gain information about what is in my hand. And then who gains the advantage? And if you look at the clip, in the end, everything was reversed, everything happened as normal, except Quran knew 2 cards in my hand. So, and then he won the match very shortly thereafter. So who gained the advantage? So I'm banned for trying, or for gaining, not for trying, because you can't get banned for trying to gain an advantage. I got banned for gaining an advantage, but I didn't gain the advantage. I'm gonna get banned for trying, then now it starts to get really fuzzy about you're gonna try something, and I'm gonna ban you just for trying, So ultimately, banning me for gaining an advantage, playing something to gain an advantage, but who ultimately gained the advantage? And then, and if you think about it, if my intent was there to cheat Quran, one of the best players in South Africa, it would obviously pick it up. I would never get it right, so why would I do that? Secondly, why would I do it with a video camera on my game? Why would I want to cheat while being on camera?
So,
why would I and I have enough money to not worry about winning $250. So on the second round,
after you've got your spot.
To cheat game 2, to cheat game 3, to cheat game 4, and then I'm gonna be rich with 250 rand, which I'm making like 5 minutes of my job, not even 5 seconds. So now the question is, so was there any incentive? No incentive. Would I want to cheat my friend? No.
So one of the comments.
One of the best players in SA and think I'm going to get away with it? No. So everything points to no.
Okay.
So can I just? I want to step in here quickly because, it's just so a lot of people said like, no, this is just outrageous, right? The fact that he's gotten so comfortable cheating that he's willing to do it on camera. That was the reverse comment of this, and I just want to make a comment because obviously, in getting the part of the content creation is to send out the like notifications, and so I obviously posted this in the South Africa Magic group, right? Just to as some clickbait, I just said who got banned. We are just obviously trying to showcase this, and the intention is to be humorous about this. We make mistakes, and that's part of my practice here is where when I teach people, it's like we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fuck up. We're all going to drop the ball. But the question is, how do we pick it up? Are we strong enough to say, hey, I made a mistake. Like, I'm sorry. Like, how can we rectify these things? Or am I, like this is the bigger person. And obviously these people have insinuated or they've kind of built this image. And it could be previously, and that's what I mean, like I can be an adult and make my own decision. And then some people are saying, oh, I was aggrieved and this is the way I said. And I feel coming back to that force of negation or that point of, where I could be aggrieved against Tiens. And I say, it's like, told people that I might have been irked, but I'm like, Tiens doesn't cheat, right? If you're a shitty player and don't read the cards and don't understand the dynamics of the game, you're going to believe he cheats, right? You're going to create that story around, hey, this guy's trying to do me in. But meanwhile, you don't actually know how life operates. Like, you don't actually understand the laws of the art. Like, let's drop Magic, for instance. You don't understand the law of, like, South Africa. And then you want to go and do crazy stuff. And then when the repercussions are there, you're like, oh, no, I got someone's out to get me. And I don't think that's the way we should be kind of looking at this. And I even told the guy, come, send me questions that you would like me to ask Tiens, right? Then I can actually give something constructive. You can say, hey, this is the way I felt you played. This is the way. Because otherwise, it's just you're taking your anecdotal evidence, because it's very subjective, rather than trying to make it objective, which is what I'm saying. If I were a victim in that situation, I'll just be victim blaming. I'll be victim blaming you and saying, oh my God, Tiens stole 5,000 rand from me because he won the secret lair. I mean, like, no, right? I'm a big boy. this is how I want to play this. I want to play this game like a big boy. And Kiran keeps telling me, it's like, dude, stop stressing out. And I'm like, I'm playing the best one of the best players in South Africa, and I obviously want to take a match. And it's nerves, right? He's like, don't be nervous. Play this properly. I mean, it happened this weekend as well. You're like, dude, it's chill. And that's how we are going to grow as players. So I think, that's something and this is why I think, I've asked Tiens, do you want to be on stream? Let's talk about it. Yes. I've asked Egg, do you guys want to be still? No. Right? If you're not comfortable with conflict, which is all about damage math and getting all of that, this is the game, right? That's how Magic is kind of constructed. We all have our different spaces that, or different tribes. We got different people, but that doesn't mean the rules change, right? We have to learn to play within that realm. And I think, Tiens, big up on you for coming and sharing with that. And there's a few things I want to obviously say. It's like, are we creating a new set of rules here, right? It's like, the fact that Egg aren't tournament organizers is huge here. The fact that they've chosen to ban someone and they don't even have recognition within the Wizards community as a WPN, right?
Lee, to be fair, to be fair here, right? And this is not like, again, I've got a lot of time for Adam in particular. Crispin and the others I don't know as well, but I've got a lot of time for Adam. The reality is, if the judges give you a recommendation, I kind of can understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so my question then is really more to the judging staff, and the process that was followed is where I have a problem.
No, 100%.
And so to be clear, because the way you're phrasing it comes across events which we don't. To be, I think ultimately the crux of the matter, the problem lies with the way the investigation was handled, and perhaps the recommendation that came as a result of said investigation, just for transparency.
But yet again, Kiran, because it was a regular REL event, there wasn't needed to be investigation after all. So, it's like.
And this is the grey area.
I don't know. Remember Barcelona? Remember the grinder events? One of the players that went with us got DQ'd at one of the grinders for instant speed attaching equipment. But he got DQ'd. The judge said, look, listen, whatever. And he said, I don't believe you did it on purpose. But remember, this is a grinder at you winning 2 buys, right? It was 2 buys or 3 buys? 2 buys.
I think 1 buy.
No, it was 2. No, it was. Okay, well, but anyways, understand, you playing a 2,500 man event. And there was multiple floor judges, head judges, and scorekeepers at a Compariel event. And a bystander let the judge know. They stopped the play, they investigated, they DQ'd the player, but they allowed him to play the GP. There was no evidence like, oh no, you did it on purpose, you're not allowed to play the GP. There is process to follow, and that's the whole thing. It's like the DCI and there is processes to follow.
And this is
where... And to be clear, I called out the judge, and I complained to the EU, one of the heads of the EU judging, whatever you want to call it, system, and said this guy was an idiot, and he cocked this thing up at the time. So, to be clear, I wasn't happy with that. I didn't agree with that ruling. I thought it was handled poorly, and I complained. I made an official complaint at that Barcelona example.
Yeah, no, that was look. We can look back at the Barcelona thing and laugh at it, but you learn, and that's the whole thing about Comp REL events. The reason is to play competitive Magic it's to play the game by the rules. Mm-hmm. There's no take backs. There's no and there's judges to make sure the rules are enforced and the players abide by the rules.
So the real question now is, like, we're talking about the rules, right? Now, who is allowed to organize? So who is allowed to organize a tournament, right?
Yeah, look.
Anyone. So we can do.
So a tournament organizer is a person dedicated by a WPN location, which is a brick and mortar store that can host events on behalf of a store.
Mm-hmm.
But with Arena, the whole thing is Arena skewed that because of a COVID situation. There was Red Bull hosted events, but look, the guys that host the Red Bull events, there's legit Magic TOs. They know what they're doing. There's proper systems in place to make sure, but there's rules and regulations as well. And for Arena, there's also rules and regulations supplied by the WPN to follow and abide by. Because at the end of the day, it's a Wizards of the Coast game.
Mm-hmm. So and this is the thing, right? It's like, are we giving our power away? Are we doing by us doing this? Are we trying to reclaim it back?
Look,
right?
Look, Lee. At the end of the day, the organizers are a personal organization or organization, and at the end of the day, it's right of admission reserved. They can do it, but the point is, the question is, what they did, is it right or is it not?
I mean, I think that's obviously a question we can.
And then going forward, is that a precedent to set for the players of the community? Is that what you want going forward?
And this is why I think we're speaking out. We're not trying to kind of be at anyone's throats. We're just wanting to speak up because we want to keep the integrity. Our South African community is small. Our competitive community is very, like, it's like in global play, competitive environments, only 10% of the Magic crowd. So that's, everything else is tabletop, right? And if we're only 10% of the Magic players, we really need to get to, this is what I want, is if we're going to try and get a GP, we need to grow that small 10% by almost 1,000, right? We're going to have to get the whole of South Africa playing if we're going to, if that's the intention, or that's my goal. And maybe we can't achieve that, but maybe we can get the quality up there, right? To showcase that this is actually a space that's in line with South America, in line with Thailand. Maybe it might be a little further out for people to get to, but it might also just be a good draw, right? South Africans got known for having the hiss. We've got that like space where people want, and we've got cheap drinks. That's a huge thing for Europeans.
So Lee, we've got the quality players. We can show that. Iran is top 8, GP Russia. I mean, Savesh top 10, made top 10 at Grand Prix Barcelona. Look, we've got the quality players. It's the numbers. The numbers is the problem. The problem is getting the casual players into a competitive environment. And understand, when you don't host competitive events correctly with judges and to teach someone how to play according to the rules, nobody's going to play competitive.
And the thing is, I just want to maybe go one step back on one thing that Karan mentioned, where he sort of, puts most of the blame on the judges. And, on that sense, I would agree most of it, but not all. But what I would like to add is, I also thought that the judges' rulings were not fair. I then went to two level 3 judges, a prior level 3 judge from South Africa and a current level 3 judge from Africa, which were the only two ever level 3 judges, to my recollection, that South Africa has ever had, which means there's the two best people that would know the rules. I asked them, what do you say happened here? Would you say it's cheating? They said no. They go the whole route about, was an investigation done? No. Because based on just a video clip, there's not enough evidence to call it cheating. So I then took this information to Egg and said, guys, and so they chose to use other judges' rulings, which are not level 3, over level 3, to ban me. So I will not. I don't want to be the one that says, yeah, this is ban a judge. Egg was completely innocent in this. They definitely, and like I said, based on how I've been targeted on Egg arena tournaments, they definitely had a mission and didn't want to consider, level 3 judges' opinions. They didn't want to consider my opponent's opinion, which is a top player, been a judge longer for than most people, has been players. They didn't want to consider those things. They rather just go with what is convenient for them. So in the end, there's a level of saying, yeah, no, I'm happy with this ruling. I don't want to take more information into consideration that's actually better information, because that will go against what I want to achieve. Because what I want to achieve is to ban Prins. So let's not say, oh, Egg is just so innocent in this. And in fact, based on what I've heard from the few judges is that they didn't recommend that I get banned. But anyway, so and then when you ask, Egg, they say no, they've had a level 3 judge overseas saying he'll ban me on the spot, which is completely irrational. And then I said, okay, please give me that. Give me this proof that where a level 3 judge in America says he'll ban me on the spot for misplaying a mystical dispute in a regular RL event, because that's nonsense in my mind. But give me the proof, and they don't want to provide me with that. So I just want to be fair also, that let's not make some party completely innocent in this when they're not completely innocent in this, where I actually believe that they are more of the instigator as opposed to the innocent part.
So just a quick question from chat, right? And I think this is obviously it's like, it's more like they wanted to ask a question of whether we're comfortable playing with a WPN backed organizer or a private entity, which is what would Egg be right now, versus a store hosting event, right? Does that keep it the same? Does it make it feel different? Because if it's WPN, they're obviously bound by the WPN rulings. Whereas if we're on Egg, which is private, we have to declare them as a private organization based on legal structures. Are they, is that the way we're going? And look, let's not take away for what Egg's done right now for the South African community in terms of bringing everyone together from different parts. I also want to commend them. So let's also just take a moment to understand that they've done quite a big task for SA and SA Magic, right? And that's not what we're trying to take away from. We're just saying, hey, there's a small piece out of this beautiful kind of expression that you've created that might sour over the long term. This is like that little piece of damp mold in your house that if you don't address now, it's just gonna go all the way through it. And that's what we're having this conversation. So I do want to acknowledge those comments that are coming from chat for that side. But back to that.
Add to that. I mean, Adam approached me, I think on EGG 2 or 3, I think 2, after he did his very first EGG, and I supported him from EGG 2. I really try to play in every event that he comes. If it's a small event, I play in it. If it's I try and play in every single event that he hosts. I try and encourage people to play. I was one of the biggest supporters of Egg, and that's sort of sad how my loyalty towards Egg got rewarded with a ban. I'm probably one of the few people. I would probably wager that, other than Adam, because obviously he'll be in every tournament, I think I've played the most EGG events from any SA player. I'll probably put a wager that I've played the most, or almost the most. And so I really am one of the biggest supporters. When the paper series came out, I'm probably one of, between me and Karan, I don't know, Karan's also, between me and Karan, we probably bought the most cards. So, so ultimately, what is the incentive to support the local stores to buy paper cards? When Adam came to me and said, do I want to assist the Poch players, and maybe he wants to sort of train them a bit and stuff, I was, yes, I'll be part of it. When he told me, I think he spoke something about Rishan, who's a new upcoming player, and he wants me to sort of include him in my team and all that. I was like all for it. I said, great, I want to, but I just have a team right now, and there's a space, I'll put him in. The point is, I'm always trying to find ways to improve Magic in the community, because it's a Magic the Gathering. It's about a community of people trying to have a good time and be a family and really build something. And that's why the good thing is all the players players like Jock and Karan and players that have come and gone almost, like, and then some players are still playing, but they play very little, like John Wood. I feel they're all part of my, friend, and I can go see them tomorrow and how are you doing? And it's like a family, it's like a gathering. And so we need to stand up for each other. And that's why I really support what Lee's doing here, and what I really appreciate that Lee was willing to, or is willing to do this in terms of standing up where it's easier to just keep quiet and then avoid getting banned yourself. But he's standing up saying, this is not right and I want to speak up about it. And Karan and Jock, and and there's quite a few people who's messaged me on my WhatsApp saying this is not right, and that's what I like. That's the part of Magic, the gathering part that I like, where people really say things aren't right, and we need more people to stand up and say, we're not going to stand for things that aren't fair just to avoid that we are now going to get in the target. Let's stand up for what's right and for what's fair. And so I really like that, by the way.
Look, like Kiran said in his latest podcast, judges 10 years ago, it wasn't just like there wasn't an IPG, there wasn't any of these rules. So it's like judges, like Kiran literally said, like you could look funny at a judge and they can ban you from an event, and it was like the Wild West back in the day. And today there are these rules and processes in place to protect both the player and the organizers. And I think it doesn't matter. Like, look, if you play the game, you follow those rules. The organizers need to follow those same rules as well. Unfortunately, it's for me. It's every time I've hosted a big event, there was an official scorekeeper. There would have been 4 floor judges, at least 2 of them, with a head judge at the event. To maintain the competitiveness. I understand if you're playing for 10 or 15,000 rand event, you need to make sure the rules are abided by. Look, South Africa doesn't have the biggest Magic community, but we have quality players, and we want those quality players to grow. At the end of the day, it's you need to make sure everybody plays by the rules. If it's from Wizards or it's from the player perspective, it's the events need to be sanctioned by those rules. The players need to abide by the game rules, and that's it. The judges are there to enforce it.
Nice.
And maybe I just want to jump in here, Jock. We go on about rules and everything, and I agree. I was at the last Pro Tour qualifier. That was the last big event that Wizards of the Coast had. I won the invite. I went to Brussels in Belgium, Brussels, and I've even in that professional route, I remember playing a abrupt decay on my opponent's creature, and then deciding, you know what, I don't want to play it anymore. I called the judge. I said, Judge, I actually don't play this card anymore. And the judge said, yeah, take it back to your hand, because no additional info has been granted. It's not like I'm changing my mind because my opponent now did something and then I realized, oh, because he does that, I don't want to do it anymore. I played it and realized as I played it, it's wrong play, I take it back. Judges allow that. So what I'm trying to say is, even if you take this thing where my creatures died and I brought it back, I'm telling you now, judges would have allowed it if it was even at the perfect.
I think Tien's is.
But your opponent now plays things new people that I actually don't want my stuff. My stuff died, and I said, I actually made no additional info, but I think I don't want that to happen. I'm just rethinking my thought, what my play, and that's normal. It's actually allowed in like the highest level. But to take it further, I then in that same match, so when I actually took my replica back, right now I took it in my hand. Now I
just my internet going out.
And I've got my Teferi, right? My opponent's okay, and he plays a Skull Queller to counter not counter, to exile.
Yeah, because he can't because that instant, but he can't respond at instant speed because of the Teferi.
And the funny thing is, there was 2 judges sitting on either side of our table,
and they didn't pick it up.
They didn't pick it up, right?
But remember, they're not there.
this part, so
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up. I lost that match because of that. That's definitely right there. And the question can be, did my opponent purposely do it? Not because if he didn't do it, he would have lost right there. But he did
Yeah.
it, and he got away with it, and he made me confused that I said you can't counter, and he goes, no, it's exile. But meanwhile, you can't play it because I got the fairy out. Be that as it may.
Yeah.
After the game, I go to the judge and said, I realized this shouldn't have happened. And I told him, and he said, oh, you missed it. So it's now the next one. There's nothing we can do now. Because I didn't go like, oh no, big investigation, ban this guy. Yeah, that's where the magic has changed, you know.
Yeah, look, but as well, remember, Tiens, that was a comp RL, not professional RL event.
The PTQ, I don't know what's the win.
No, it was comp RL. When it comes to professional RL, that's next level. It's like I've seen them day two ban people for no reason. You know, it's like I didn't do anything wrong. It's like I just called the judge. At day two of Grand Prix, I told the judge, like, listen, this oak did this and this and this. And he said, well, cool, like, listen, he gets a game loss, but you get a warning because you missed that. So have a good game. You know, that's a seriousness of, like, that level of competitiveness.
So guys, I think what I want to do is obviously we've been an hour just to give the guys a stream, but what you guys are obviously bringing up is something that we might obviously take up for our next discussion, is obviously the levels of Comparial, the rulings, just to take a nice deep dive into that, maybe get a judge involved to get us understanding, because this is also part of what I want is an educational process for us. You know, no one's going to get better players, better people, better standings, better, and everything. We're not going to improve if we don't have this knowledge base, right? And we have
the only way you learn is through your mistakes,
right? Make mistakes. Your opponent's going to make them against you. You're going to make them against your opponent, and you got to take them. You got to learn from them. And that's, if you're not taking every moment to reflect on how badly you played a game, win or loss, to reflect how those games were impacted or not impacted, you're just going to still be a tabletop player. You're going to stay there. You're not going to get to a level where you are playing at your guys' level, top 8ing a GP, getting into those positions where you are, because it's like, I know I have to go back and check every moment. And this is part of why we have I want to have recordings at the games, not to threaten players, but to allow us to go back and say, oh, this is how I misplayed. Did I have an opportunity to play better? Right? Because this is what I do for my thing, is like, I go and assess someone's joint. I say, okay, is it functioning like this? Has the work that we've done improved it in that way? And I use a camera for that. The camera is there so that we can scrub back, check all of those things. And this is why we're bringing that camera there. It's also to improve, like, the fact that we have a camera at the tables now means that we're playing at a higher stakes, right? You want to be at the table with the camera. You don't want to be at the table at the bottom. You want to be showcased. And that creates that profile of professional magic, right? Creating that profile. And we got that this weekend. We got the players playing under the camera. We got the judges going around. We got all of that ethos. We just didn't have tears, right? And that's why we want to try and say, hey, let's change that, because we believe that we've got a space that is beautiful, right? That has a space of growth, right? And having all the players, like, having this is an amazing opportunity for us, right? As South Africans, Jacques is like, I don't get to play enough competitive Magic anymore. And that was why we wanted to have this stream, is for Tiens to be able to voice his side. Hopefully we can get, I'm open to having Egg on stream to have them share their side. I brought Jacques because he's organized lots of tournaments. He's obviously played at the highest level. And lastly, we got Kiran to, as a support of his friend, was involved in the infraction, to just say, hey, I don't believe in this way. Like, and it was a last minute thing. Like, literally, Tiens said, hey, Kiran said he was willing to be on stream. I'm like, yes, I want the highest profile players in South Africa to be showcased here, right? And we will be doing...
I mean, just to be clear, sorry, Leah.
Yeah.
No, Kiran, I didn't ask Kiran if he wanted to be on stream. Kiran found out and asked and told me, came to me and said, he's willing to come on stream if I want him on stream. And that just says another thing, which is very what I really value about Quran is that he didn't wait for me to ask him. He volunteered to come on. And there's a lot of people that sent me like really encouraging WhatsApp messages saying they don't believe that this is fair. Even at the last pre-release at one store we was at, the people said this is ridiculous. It doesn't even make any sense. So I feel, at least from that perspective, it says a lot about the community. There will probably be people that don't like you, and I guess that's in life how it works. And but yeah, at least there are those people that will stand up for what's right, and it's nice in times like this when those true good colors come out, which is great.
And Jens, one thing I've learned in life is when somebody doesn't, if nobody dislikes you, you're doing something wrong. I'm just being honest. It's like people, it's humane for people to dislike you. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that we need to focus on is the small community in this country. We need to focus on getting more Comp REL events in this country. Mm-hmm. We need to reach out to the organizers in the stores, the store owners, to listen, get the judges involved, teach the players what Comp REL. If you want to be lazy, go play Moto, go play Arena. Mm-hmm. It does the rules for you. It's not paper magic. If you want to be good at paper magic, come play Comp REL. That's it. Simple.
Yeah. And that's part, I think, Concept saying, with the, part of having a camera, should we not have a camera there? I don't think so. I think we need to have cameras there, right? We need to have this reviewing. We need to have this there. Whether it's a tabletop, whether it's pre-release, we need to be showcasing Magic as often as possible so that people are more aware. People ask questions. If they walk into the store and say, why is there a camera there? It's we're streaming Magic because we want to share. We want to give people the opportunity to watch. And this infraction might have not gotten this far if we didn't have a camera. But that's not that's I don't think it's an excuse. Is not an excuse for the fact that someone got a little bit of bait here to aim it at Tians, or if it wasn't there and the refraction wasn't shared to out of context, there might be a gun here having a camera, but the question is people are choosing to pull the trigger or not, right? And
the Premier League allowed a VAR. I'm just saying, come on.
Right. So I think, okay, guys, I think this has been a great chat. I appreciate it. Sorry, it might sound like we're against or heated against. We are for the community, right? It might seem like we're polarized or we all have different varying opinions. That's why we try to kind of get those rules down, get them to the point where we are all on the same page. And this is hopefully to try and get us onto that same page, right? As organizers, as players, as judges, we want the community to all be together. And, by excluding someone, we're not allowing us to be together, right? By doing that, this type of making these decisions that maybe didn't follow procedures, maybe people felt it was right, maybe they felt it we all feel like we are doing the right thing from our perspectives, right? I feel like I'm doing the right thing by now speaking out. Someone might feel like we're doing the wrong thing, right? And it's trying to come to that middle ground where we are understanding that. And this is what it takes to be a gangster, right? You've got to stand up. You've got to have those rights. You've got to be...
sorry, bro. We are toppies. We're not gangsters. Myself and Prins are toppies.
Okay, fine. Okay, listen here. There's only honor amongst gangsters. And I saw a lot of honor here when we have that, right? We don't need rules to say what the right thing is or to say what the way we feel. Gangsters might operate on the side of those things, and that's the intention here, is that we're doing what we feel is the right thing and the honorable thing, and we're hoping to kind of create a little bit more honor amongst that, and hopefully we all play at the highest level, right? To play that it doesn't feel like we're in fraction, we call good clean plays, and that's obviously going to come out as we play in future. So that being said, any last comments from you guys? But I want to say thank you.
Look, I've been part of this community for about 21 years now. And I've had epic matches against Kiran and Tians as well. And to be honest, that was some of the best high-level Magic I've ever played in my life. And even when I was at a Grand Prix, like those oaks can't compare to these oaks I play locally. And the idea is, at the end of the day, you want to grow this community. We've got serious talent. We've got serious skill. And at the end of the day, the more we grow this community, it's just gonna be better. And I feel, it's Wizards has put these rules and regulations in place for everyone to follow, so it protects players and store owners. But follow those rules. Let's abide by them.
And I just want to sort of add to there's an important comment to Job. It's funny, what he said is almost exactly what I wanted to say. If I spoke first, I would have said I've had some epic games with with all three of you, but it's but I must say I think my most epic game was probably games were against Jock. I think he psyched me out so many times. I swear, I think I sweat like during those games because he plays like I feel like I'm playing poker and Magic at the same time because he's bluffing me with all the things he's doing.
When Tiens was playing green-white tokens in cons of Tequila block, I bluffed him so hard with Coco.
Such good games. I still remember them to today. I remember good games against Lee.
That was fantastic.
So
yeah. The thing is, what I also remember, just to say, is I really remember great times with Karan, even at overseas tournaments, which are like amazing, And so this is, and with Jog at Barcelona and
Utrecht. We'll remember Utrecht forever.
One of the proudest moments I've had, one of my proudest moments was seeing Jog at like table 1 at a Grand Prix.
Man.
Like it was really. I took a photo and shared it. I was so
round 9, day 2, and Tiens is the guy standing there taking a photo of me. He's posting it on Facebook. I'm like, oh shit, I'm stressing my ass off.
It was like I think I hope one day my son can make me that proud. But I was really proud.
That week was amazing.
Things that make it special, and I also just want to iterate. Last part is, this is one incident that really infuriated me. But I mean, like I said, I wasn't infuriated from the start. I supported and I all the way, and because there's a lot of good. And this is just the one incident that was really hurtful, and I feel unfair. And so and the thing is, just like I don't want to be seen as a bad person for making a mistake once long ago. I just like that. I don't see Egg as being terrible or anything for making a mistake in my view now. But I mean, it's about how we, I guess, how we come out of this and how we recognize our mistakes and how we, just step up. When the community tells you you're wrong.
Einstein said a good thing that mistakes are only judged by time. So. Things that was bad 5 years ago, it's not necessarily bad today. It's about context. It's about opinions that change and how we grow as people. So I'm putting that out in the universe.
And thank you guys. I think that's a beautiful note to close on. I think we did well. And hopefully we can see if we've made mistakes. Maybe maybe everyone has. But only time will tell. And I hope for the best of this community. I hope all of us. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've had like 20 people, so obviously a lot of people are sharing and wanting to understand and hear these views, and people have stayed in for that long and trying to divulge. And I mean that shows that we've done well as a community to showcase this, right? We also did really well. I mean, that's why I didn't bring this up and was there for stream. It's like we want to be selfless for the space, right? We want it to really grow, and hopefully with COVID being over, with all of this, we're going to have a lot more competitive Magic. We're going to have a lot more people on the tables, a lot more spell slinging, and hopefully a lot more streams. So thanks guys, and we will be out. Streams out. Thank you guys.
Cheers, Alex. Have a good one.
Cheers.